Welcome back to True Gem TV, where we are highlighting athletes from the Dayton area. Today we are joined by a very special guest. Last year, playing in Australia for the RMIT Redbacks, he averaged 22 points per game, shooting 53% from the field. Today we are joined by Darnell Hoskins Jr.
How y'all doing?
Not too bad, man. Appreciate you for taking the time out of your day and taking the time out of, I'm sure, what is a busy schedule and kind of an off season for you, right? Like, are you kind of in that mode right now? Like, I know you just kind of got back from playing in Australia, so you kind of just in the mode of just kind of like working on your game or like enjoying time with family or kind of a mix of both maybe?
No, I'm definitely enjoying time with family. But obviously, still, still trying to stay in shape and everything like that. So, just taking it one day at a time and just keep chopping wood at this thing, 'cause it's a nonstop grind.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. And like, I don't think a lot of people probably maybe understand the dynamics of, playing overseas and stuff. So like, how tough is that to like, one, like obviously it's awesome you get to, play professionally, like, that's an awesome thing for anybody to be able to achieve. But how tough is it to have to go across the world, be away from your family, be in a place that, maybe you're not born there. You might have familiarized yourself with, but like kind of being in a foreign land like that and being away from so many people.
Oh yeah, man, it's definitely a challenge. I always ask my dad because obviously he played overseas as well. Just trying to get, some easier, easier things to do in terms of that. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it's your job at the end of the day. And if you really have a true passion and love for it, I don't think the distance really matters. As long as you know what the goal is, and obviously you playing the game that you love at the highest level. So you just got to kind of keep that into perspective.
Yeah. And like, is it? I guess that is a good point. Like with your dad playing overseas, do you think that's helped you get an edge more than maybe most Americans going over there to play for the first time? Like just kind of maybe knowing some tips or just kind of knowing what to expect.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. Also, it was a way of me, obviously getting out of his shadow. Obviously, because he was a big name coming up in the city. But I would say it gives me a little edge just because he's taught me a lot about this game and a lot of valuable life lessons. So it definitely has given me a little edge.
Yeah. And so I want to ask you too, like just off of playing in Australia, like what is like other than playing basketball, like what is your favorite part about like Australia?
Oh man, definitely the culture. Obviously, you have the conversations are different. You got the hey mate, the oh he's a good lad, those type of things. Things like that. Driving on the other side of the road, food. It's a lot of different stuff. A lot of different attributes, man. That are a lot different, a lot to get adjusted to. But it's definitely a great country. I love playing there. The fans are great, people are great, everything like that. So,
Yeah. And we've heard some stories on this podcast that other players have told about some crazy fans, crazy atmospheres. Like, do you experience that a little bit? Like, can you kind of, is it just different than America? Like, just the culture that it's kind of like a soccer style. Some people have kind of described to me. Like, does that sound like pretty accurate to you?
yeah, no, that's definitely pretty accurate. Yeah, there's a lot of hecklers in the stands, and you get Instagram DMs about, oh, you're not gonna do this tonight, or things along those lines. So they're pretty serious when it comes to their basketball, man.
Yeah. And now, like on the court, how does the play style over there kind of compare to like, how kind of like maybe styles you see in the NBA or just college around here? Like, is it a lot different to you, or was it kind of easy for you to fit in?
It was kind of easy for me to fit in coming out of college. The play style in Australia, though, it's more team oriented. So you might have a lot of ball screens, a lot of pick and roll, a lot of, well, it's FIBA rules. So obviously the big is in the paint. So and they can stand there as long as they want to. So
Mm-hmm.
that makes the game a little bit more kind of like tricky. But as you get acclimated and get a few games under your belt, Obviously you kind of get used to it.
Yeah. And I want to ask you too now, like kind of shifting back to, before you went to go, play overseas, or really kind of ties in with, now just being from Dayton. Like, what are your, I guess, feelings about like how this, like the Dayton, like sports scene or just like the community? Because obviously, you come back, you train and around with guys, or I'm sure you connect and network with guys. Like, what do you like? How can you really describe that to maybe somebody that wouldn't really be as familiar?
Man, Dayton is really tight knit, man. You know, everybody's good when you grow up. And obviously people have different paths that they go on and things like that. But when I come back, I just try to give them, knowledge about obviously everything that I went through, things I'm going through currently, switching teams, and just my life experiences even outside of basketball. You know what I mean? The basketball aspect, you know, they know what I do in terms of that. So I just try to give them, you know what I mean, uh, good advice and things like that. Things to do, things not to do. So it's definitely a good experience to come home. Feel the love, and give the love back as well.
Yeah. And so, you're in the off season right now, like we kind of said before and stuff. Is there like one aspect or kind of a couple maybe aspects you're really focusing on your game to kind of improve in your time here in the off season?
No, just trying to, obviously sharpen the tools and things like that. Um, just watching film over the past, season, the past season that just transpired and everything like that. Just trying to take away obviously the good things. You want to keep doing the good things, and then obviously look at the things that went wrong as well. That'll obviously further my game, and obviously trying to make my teammates better at on my future teams that I do play on. So those are kind of the things I take away from it.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, I want to switch gears with you a little bit here. It's just something we've been trying to do a lot more of, and just kind of do a little, just like a little fun segment here. So I'm going to have you blind rank some NBA shooting guards. These are all current, so keep that in mind. So, all right, so give you 5 names here. First guy we got up is Austin Reeves.
Okay. I'll do Austin. I'll put him at 4.
4? Okay, solid. All right, next up, we got Jaylen Brown.
JB. I'll put JB at 3.
Okay, solid. All right, next we've got Devin Booker.
D Book. Wow. I got a feeling that you're going to put a higher name, so I'll put D Book at 2. I'll put him at 2.
Okay. And let's see. Next, we got 2 names left. You got your first spot and your 5th spot open. We've got Desmond Bane, recently traded to the Magic.
5.
5. All right, solid.
5.
And last, going in at your 1 slot is Anthony Edwards. So I would say
that's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
That's not a bad 5.
See, me as a Celtics fan, I'd be like, Jaylen Brown's better than Devin Booker, but you got to leave the room though. You got to leave the room. It's all good. And also, I could hear arguments, the other way. Like I get it. Like there's pros and cons, but I mean, hey, you kind of nailed that. Honestly, that's kind of how I envisioned it going. Like when I drafted this up, I was like, okay, I'm gonna hopefully he'll keep the 1 open for Ant at the end. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think he did solid, man. I think he did solid.
Yeah.
So kind of like going off of that too. Like, is there any like players, whether it was growing up or now even, that you kind of like watch how they operate, kind of model your game after?
Yeah, no, it's 2 guys that I kind of like model my game after, and a lot of my friends, a lot of my basketball friends tell me that I kind of play like similar like to these 2 players. Russell Westbrook, definitely for the explosiveness aspect, him being able to obviously get to the rim. He's really like just tenacious, you know what I mean? Like he's just a dog, you know what I mean? He's just a dog. And then obviously Kyrie, my ability to obviously play make, hit tough shots, and obviously get your teammates involved as well. So those are kind of like the 2 guys I've been modeling my game after.
Yeah, well, that's a good mix. Like too, if people don't know you or haven't really seen much of you, then like I feel like that gives people a good idea though. Like, versatile. Like, I guess like I'll ask you this question too, because I was just thinking about this too. Like, okay, so like obviously, you like to get to the rim. Like what like you said too, with the big playing in the paint, no defensive three, is that correct? Like that's what you're referring to over in FIBA?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So like, I mean, is that kind of like force you to kind of change your game a little bit and just like make it to where, you're not, I'm sure you go in and test the bigs, but kind of like make it to where you maybe develop more of like mid-range or maybe even more of like a floater? Is that something that's kind of just happened with those rules there?
Yeah, yeah, no, it definitely changed the game a lot. Obviously, you don't want to. You're going against tall trees every night, so you don't want to go in there and get blocked by a 7-footer. Obviously, every game. So, floaters, mid range, mid range bank. Obviously the three. That you at my size, you definitely have to hit the three at a consistent clip.
Yeah.
So no, I will definitely say, yeah, definitely that mid range area, which is kind of like a lost, a lost piece of the game. You know what I mean? And I wish a lot of guards, and I'll definitely say that to a lot of guards who are watching this, definitely, take into consideration and work on your mid range game because it's a lost art.
Yeah.
And I think, it'll definitely obviously help your game. And yeah, it'll make you an all around better player too.
Yeah, and I think if I go back to my list here of these guys, I think really other than Desmond Bain, I guess he's been shooting a lot more threes, but a lot of those guys really use the mid range, and obviously these are great names like Reeves, Brown, Booker. I mean, they're pretty good at using the mid range. Like obviously, DeMar DeRozan's like the poster child for the mid range, but I mean, I think you're right though. It's a lost art because you just think, and it's maybe not even like there's guys in the NBA that shoot the mid range, but you don't really see it as much. Like the flashier thing is the 3-point percentage, shooting the threes, and the analytics of it. But like you said though, it counts the same. It's still 2 points, and it's something that teams are probably going to give you a lot of too. Especially if you're a good 3-point shooter, they're gonna, you know what I mean. Like you're probably going to be able to. That'll just make it so much tougher. Like you just 3 levels. So
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree.
yeah. Well, for sure, man. All right, so I got one last question for you here, and you kind of touched on this a little bit, but I'll give you a chance to maybe expand a little more on this. So, any advice that you have for younger players, whether that's high school, college, I mean, maybe they're middle school, just kind of advice on how to get to the level that you are playing overseas, doing this professionally, and just kind of like just some tips for those kind of guys.
Yeah, no, I would definitely say just stay in the gym consistently, man. There's always something to get better at, whether that's passing, shooting, defensively, and watch film too. Because I know when I was a younger guy, I always relied on my athleticism, and it'll get you to some points. You know what I mean? When you're young in your career, but as you advance levels, it's all about your mental. At the end of the day, so that's something I would really preach to the young generation. Just continue to work on your game, perfect your craft. Because I mean, obviously, there's people that are out here that are working, but you gotta outwork everybody that's around you, no matter what it is, because there's always somebody working, but are they gonna work as hard as you?
Yeah, that's awesome advice. So I will say too before I let you go, like what are like are you planning to go back to Australia, or are you kind of is that your plan?
Yeah. So no, I this past season I played Australian in the Big V. So my rookie season I played NBL one. I played out west, so which is one of the premier conferences in the NBL one. So this year I've played in Big V, which is in comparison to NBL one South. And I obviously was All-Star 5 on this past season and things like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, no, NBL one is definitely something I want to do for 2026. Obviously, come back home, train, get my body healthy and things like that. And then 2026, man, I just want to give it you know, all I got. You know what I mean? Do this thing again, and hopefully start my Europe stint after the NBL one season, which ranges from March to about August, and then go from Europe from there.
Nice. Well, hey, best of luck to you, Darnell, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your day and what I'm sure is a busy off season for you and taking some time for us and blessing everybody with knowledge and good information for sure, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me on, man.